Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversation. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
On July 4th, 1962, I found myself in the lost and found of mankind. Just because something finds its way to the lost and found doesn't mean that it wants to be there. Just because something finds its way to the lost and found doesn't mean that the person who lost it doesn't care for that lost item.
You are writing moments that people will learn from, grow from, and heal through for thousands of years. Together, we are co-authoring a unique moment in time. That DNA, those fingerprints, they're going to be gone. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. But it is your story that they will tell for thousands of years, but only if you leave it. Things that do not serve you must go. The longer you wait, the more time you give them to trick you into serving them. 22 homes in foster care, everything I wore as a scar, as a shame, things that started like Velcro on my spirit. After just a few months, then years, then decades, I had believed myself into believing that they were indelible tattoos. Sometimes we have to be broken down to appreciate the view once we start getting up. I want you to leave this place and know that you have been changed. Why? How do I know it's true? Because each of you has just changed.
5 years ago, the Power of We Symposium was created to provide a platform for kids from all sectors where they could have a safe and comfortable environment in which to share both their joys and concerns. The Power of We Symposium is proud to have served over 250 kids throughout Romania when we took our mission global back in May of 2023. Now, 2 teams of amazing volunteers from both the U.S. and Romania embarked on an 8-day Legacy of Hope tour, bringing encouragement and hope to not only the kids of Romania, but also the adults who support them, and also to over 100 kids here in the U.S. who contributed handwritten letters of hope to our Romania mission of 2023. Now, this year, we are proud to provide this opportunity yet again in October, and we are super excited to up our game. New venue, 750 kids this time, and we want to see you there. We're looking forward to meeting you in person at this year's event, which promises, as always, incredible speakers, amazing content, and of course, some of the greatest kids on the planet. So, mark your calendars for October 24th, and we'll see you here in Chicagoland for the Power of We Symposium 2024. This year's theme is Always Together, Never Alone. Tickets are available now on Eventbrite or at powerofwesymposium.com.
your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Oh, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. But you walk right past me, pretending like you don't see what's yours for the taking tonight.
That's my jam. That's my jam. That's my jam. Ooh, I probably could have been a rapper. Not. Good morning and welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Dr. Lauren. I'm so happy. I just love. Oh, it's Wednesday. Hump day. I love every day. I do. I love every single day. It is a blessing. It is a blessing. I remember when, I'm just keeping it real, I remember there were lots of times where I didn't look forward to the sun coming up. I couldn't wait for it to go down. Seriously, but that's not the way it is now. I love life. How about you? Listen, y'all, welcome to today's installment. Welcome my sidekick. She's here every day, has been for over 7 years. Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. Why? Because I love me some Lucy. Sure do. Look at her back there with my other two icon friends, Babs, Barbara Streisand, to you who don't know her as close as I do, and Diana Ross, to also those of you who don't know her like I do. I'm just saying. Let me see. Do I have any announcements? Well, Power of We Symposium. Listen, so excited. We still are looking for, if you know of people who, you see our theme this year is Always Together, Never Alone, 750 kids. And I really want the message for the kids this year is how to learn that don't get duped by those beckoners, traffickers, narcissistic personalities trying to date young people or grab them and mold them. Anything that does not serve them. Our briefest of our seasons as people, as humans, I believe to be childhood. And that's why so many things try to come in and snuff out the wicks of our children. That's our future. And we need them as strong as possible because the Lord knows they got a whole bunch of cleanup on aisle 7 from the shit we have created. Can I get an amen? So I'm just saying, Power of We this year is going to be all about that. So we're doing a lot of a couple big breakout sessions. Mental health is a big piece this year. Having the conversation about trafficking and how not to get duped. That means social media etiquette, phishing, all this stuff. You know, that AI stuff where they're Taylor Swift, right? They're taking heads off people and putting it on bodies and putting it in porn and stuff like that. And they're doing it in high schools. And we got to get our kids right, get their heads right. So the Power We Symposium, if you want to just create something to put in or donate something to put in our 750 swag bags we got to fill, things of encouragement. I'm gonna just keep it real. I'm not trying to put fidgets and water bottles and stuff in there. When a kid feels like they're alone and then they're in the dark and the world has them on mute, not to take anything from a fidget or a water bottle, but that's probably not going to cut it. So if it's a bracelet or something that you know is going to mean something when a kid needs it the most, hit me up. I'd love to hear your ideas and perhaps it can make its way into one of the 750 swag bags we got to fill. They always come through, and you know who I mean when I say they. That's the bell of purpose when I ring it on the show. It's not a gimmick. It's not a prop. It's more of a reminder, an opportunity, if you will, that just like that bell has a ring to it, you guessed it, so does the truth. And I know we're busy doing multiple things while we get our content, but please don't ever get so busy where you miss the ring of truth. It'll serve you well. All needles pointing due north. So today's guest is, boy, he's lucky he didn't grow up me because I would call him Navy. Pinto, he's heard them all. String, I know string, I wouldn't use that. That's overused. But anyway, Terry Bean is here and he plays on his name, so don't get it twisted. I'm not being mean and I'm not bullying. He is a man of many talents. And that doesn't even really cover it when I say many talents. He always tells people that your audiences deserve a presenter who will knock them awake.
right? And I can second that emotion. He lives in Michigan, where I originate from, so I'm excited about that. He is a TEDx organizer for TEDx Detroit and a whole bunch of other things. We're just gonna bring him in here. Let me see. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do something a little different instead of the little countdown clock. And it's my first week back on StreamYard. Bear with me. It's like, did you switch from an Android to an Apple phone? I did, and I thought I'd never learn an Apple phone. Now I don't remember how in Android. That's how it was when I left StreamYard and went over to Wave. I had to come back like, where's all the stuff that was in the car? Where the lights turn on. It's like driving a rental. So I'm back. So bear with me. I said all that to say I'm trying to remember how to do this. See, I hit the wrong button right there. I want to show you guys something about Terry. I have a little. We're gonna watch some of his sizzle reel. Okay, wait a minute. It's called centering. Okay, that was a mini meditation, and now I can do it. I'm not techie, and it intimidates me. I'm sorry. Am I frozen? What the heck? Now, wait a minute. Everything is locked up. Okay, see there? Let me just say this, and I'm getting Terry in here. I just manifested that shit, y'all. Trying to say it's too hard. And then the universe said, okay, let's freeze everything. Now you want to complain? It could be worse. See, I'm telling you, I know how they work. I did that. So anyway, okay, I'm looking at all the stuff. Terry, I got a lot of stuff pulled up. Here we go. There it is. Take a look. You guys, this is a real treat. Let me blow it up. Full experience. Oh, don't make me do it. I feel my culture coming out.
In the audience are as interesting as the people that are on the stage.
And if you sound unexcited when you're talking about what you do, how do you think the listener is going to feel when they hear it? Leadership isn't a title. It's not a position. It is a role that we, each and every one of us, can play, must play.
And I'm joined by Terry Bean, the producer for TEDx Detroit, or one of the producers. You've been here since the beginning, about 14 years ago.
It's grown from a 300-person event to at one point a 4,000-person event over those 14 years. We've hit some of the greatest iconic buildings in the Detroit area. We're super excited to be here at Music Hall today.
All things being equal, we know that people do business with people they know, like, and they trust.
Every moment we have the opportunity to choose how we're going to be, how we're going to behave, and what part of us we're going to bring into the next moment. Every moment you have that choice.
So as you think about your day and what kind of ripple you're going to create and how you're going to cast that positive stone, I want you to think about let people be. Let them enjoy their day.
Okay. How you been, Terry Bean? See how I did that?
Yeah, I knew that was coming, baby. I'm doing great, man. I was so hyped up just watching the kind of the sizzle reel for you, for the POW event that's coming up, and just the overall, the TV 360, man. This stuff is going off. I like it.
We're trying.
And then you started rapping, man. I heard it. We were,
No, I do that for the benefit of my family members because they call me Uncle Carlton. I don't know what it is. Some of them swear I have no rhythm. It's because I can't do those choreographed line dances at all the family gatherings, where they're to the right. I'm a freestyle.
No electric slide for you.
I'm a freestyle kind of guy. And when it comes to that, get out my way. That's all I got to say. So anyway, I'm so glad you're here. Terry, where are you in the world? Are you still in Michigan right now?
Yes, sir. I'm about 25, 30 miles northwest of Detroit City. So I'm in a little suburb in Oakland County known as White Lake Township.
White Lake Township. Were you born and raised in White Lake Township?
No. I was born in Detroit. So just south Lincoln Park, downriver. I lived in Farmington, which borders Detroit, for a number of years, and then moved out to Minnesota when I was 12. So I claimed dual residency between Michigan and Minnesota. And then I spent a minute in Ohio too.
Now, Minnesota, I believe, isn't Minnesota the birthplace of water skiing?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. It would make sense. It seems like it would be. Right?
I think Minnesota is. Somebody check it out. But I really believe that I learned that somewhere along the road of useless knowledge. Here's
fascinating. Michigan actually has more lakes than Minnesota, which is the land of lakes.
See?
They both have over 10,000. It's a ridiculous amount of water around here.
That's amazing. Well, speaking of amazing, you have so many things on your prolific resume that I thought it'd be better if I just dip out for about 60 seconds and let you give a living, breathing testimony, a joy report, if you will, of what's going on in your life. Create your own vibe with the audience, and then I'll pop back in and we'll officially get this party started. Sound okay?
Sounds like a plan, man. I love it.
All right. Take it away. All you.
Hey, my name's...
Actually, sorry.
All me.
Alter ego, all me. I'm kidding. It's the power of we, not me.
This dude's fun, man. Let's just give it up for Dr. Lauren one time. Okay, two. My name's Terry Bean. I've been in the business and personal growth space for the past 15 years. Prior to that, I did a whole bunch of technology and people-related sales. Sold networks and done networking and created a huge networking group in the Detroit area that brought people together live and online. Did that about 2006 and ran it right up until COVID hit. And then it was like a really nice excuse to not do it anymore. But that group grew and connected people to the ideas and the opportunities and the people they needed to seek. And that's what I am about at my core. I spend my time coaching, training, delivering keynote speeches. And as Dr. Lauren mentioned, I've written a book or two, one on networking and one on mindset. And I'm a big fan of keeping both of those tight. So that's how I help my people, man.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Now, I wanted to go in and start at this thing about how when COVID, a lot of people pivoted. That's why I refer to COVID as the great equalizer, because it really pushed the world in directions we most likely would not have even considered moving had it not been for COVID. What was it? What's the biggest difference between pre-COVID and post-COVID, Terry Bean? What's the biggest difference in your world?
When COVID hit, man, I had a real clear mantra. It was keep your head down, keep your chin up, which everybody would be like, that's impossible to do. I'm like, no, it's not. It's metaphorical, man. You don't have to do it physically.
Right.
And then keep moving forward.
Well, right? You can do that if you're standing on your head.
That's it. Ooh, yeah. See, you just got to look at things differently. I like that. So for me, I knew that from a communications game, I can get up and spit. I had no problem talking, but I was challenged. So I doubled down on learning Canva much better. I'm still not good, but it makes me look like I can present myself visually. And so from a presentation standpoint, from a social media, from a marketing standpoint, that's where I spent my time. I got online, did a lot of the one-on-one kind of conversations, and then did a lot of broadcast video because I was like, we got to inspire the people. We got to inform the people. We got to entertain the people.
Yeah.
And so did that. And it was really cool. But yeah, Motor City Connect shut down because I was watching a friend of mine give a presentation to 20 some people on video. And I'm like, I ain't doing this again. And so once COVID opened up, I was like, well, if a bunch of people ask me to bring this back, I will. And I still haven't hit the number I was expecting to hit with people asking.
Why do you think, or have you even considered, I bet you have, why do you think so many people were admittedly doing things that they didn't really want to do on a daily basis before COVID. And then it's as if the pandemic gave so many of us permission to say, you know what, I'm done with that shit. This, that, and the other. I mean, so many things suddenly made sense. I mean, think about places, people or businesses you knew that thought they had to go to a brick and mortar to do what they did. And then when they couldn't get there, they're like, you mean we could have been doing this shit from home all along? I didn't have to buy pants or underwear all these years. I could have just sat half naked at the, well, not before computers, but after, you know. So yeah, it did. It changed a lot. Do you think we are better people as from the experience of this pandemic? Do you think overall we're better people, or do you think we're worse?
It's an interesting question. So let me answer the first one. The programming came down, man. Like we've been so I don't even want to say rewarded, but so expected to do things in a certain route, right? The map was written and we were all supposed to follow the map. You go to school, you do okay, you get into college, you finish that. You go get married, you get a job somewhere in there, you have some kids, and that whole facade fell apart, man.
Oh, dear.
People started asking questions. You mentioned earlier about knock 'em awake. People actually started to become a little bit awake. And I don't think they're awake in the right areas yet, but listen, awakening is a process. It takes time and you build on it. And you know, people are starting to look externally for some of that awareness. That's not the right place to look, but we don't have time to dive in all that right now. But the fact that that happened allowed people to start questioning stuff, to start looking at things differently. And, you know, all of a sudden, 3 months into COVID, your boss is happy as heck with your work because you're more productive. You're happier with your work because you're more productive and have more free time and at home hanging out with your pets. Man, it was a cool time. Are we better? Man, I don't know that we're better from a civility perspective. I think we're a little bit ruder than we were prior to. People became a little more self.
They came out of those bags.
Yeah.
You know, look, you know, I've been this has been on my mind for a minute. Well, like 30 years. Girl, I can't stand when I mean, it really, especially, okay. Well, wait a minute. This is going to be fun. Like families, dynamics change. Remember that? Remember like when it came time to start kind of coming back together on holidays and you had a vaxxed house and an unvaxxed house and this, that, and the other. And then people were getting mad at each other because you didn't take the vax. All this stuff. She won't wear her mask. This, that. So many things came out of it. So many. So, and the reason I'm kind of hitting on that is because of the work you do, you know, all over the place. And so like when you work with people, like we saw in your sizzle reel, those corporate settings, how different are things for you now as a speaker? Let's say, we're going to hit all your different components, but let's go there now. As a speaker, do you have new material now that is more fitting for today's corporate world or audiences than before? And if so, how did that change in your world?
You know, it's interesting. It is new. It is different, right? And it wasn't necessarily as a result of COVID, but as I think about it, it was the deeper thinking in the time and the journaling that led to some of the conversations that I have now. And now we're looking at people like attitudes, beliefs, and actions, right? I'm giving a presentation tomorrow that's the category. It was originally written as the 24 Beatitudes of handling difficult discussions, but I got a client that's got a problem with well, I'm going to get into what their problem is, but it's 24 attitudes, actions, and beliefs about being a better team, right? So how do we get there? And what my main message is for most everybody is it's all on you. You had a scenario where you couldn't upload something on StreamYard, and you were like, "Oh, that's the universe right there, man." You had it, noticed it, acknowledged it, laughed about it, and moved on from it in about 7.5 seconds, right? And what we need to realize is everything, all the good stuff and all the shit show is stuff that we brought on for ourselves, man.
Yep.
Every single time. And the more accountability you have and the more ownership you take, the easier it is to get through, get over, get by, you know.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Now, your books, you have 2 of them. Which came first? Finding harmony in the dirty word you give. We can say it here in the F's you give, or this one, Be Connected. Strategies to attract the right opportunities, connections, and clients through effective networking. And I can't wait till we get in on this one because I have a theory about networking. I want to see how you feel about it. But which one came first?
This one is significantly older than that cool cover one, man. The cool cover one, listen, if you just judge a book by the cover, you should buy that one, right? Sure, yeah, I love that cover.
But isn't that like your logo?
It's based on my logo. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna miss that. So really, you guys, what you just experienced with Terry Bean was known as a
That's true.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the older of the 2 books first, and I'm gonna click back over. I had to go somewhere real quick. Told y'all I'm still getting used to it, but I can't wait. I'm reading the back right now before I click over. I'm kind of doing my homework on this book right now in real time. Okay, got it. So Be Connected, take us through it. So I mean, it's out there, it's still relevant. I'm assuming this book was pre-COVID.
It's pre-COVID. It is still relevant. It is getting a massive update this year and will be re-released as actually technically version 3 of this. So the first one came out in 2010. This version of it came out in 2013. And then I'm going to update it with all the video stuff that we're doing the network now and a few other deeper insights that I've gained in the last decade. But I love this book, man. This book was born out of me running networking groups for about a decade and watching people just blow it event after event after event by how they were showing up and how they were bringing the material they had and how they were just going about it. And not everybody, but a lot of people do it backwards, right? If you're going to a networking event with the intent of what you're going to get, you should flip it around to what am I going to give? How can I be of service? You show up at a networking event with the idea, how am I going to help 3 people today? You're going to walk out of that a very happy person. So
I agree.
If you go up, you like, I'm going to get 3 leads today, you're going to walk out not as happy.
Well, see, there's a difference. And I remember I said I had something to say about networking, and in my coaching program, in my life, not just my coaching program, but it is one of the first things I have to break as far as bad habits with my coaching clients that come in, is to change it from a mindset of networking, which is, in my opinion, the clinking of cocktail glasses and the passing of paper cards. Now, I believe more in working the net, which is in alignment with what you just said. I mean, I'm trying to be a fisher of men, which means I am to be of service to other people. So, it's not about a price tag. It's about the value of the story. It's not about your credit card. It's about the testimonial of the experience. And that's what I believe you're saying. And I'm glad that more and more people are finally starting to sit on that and let it set within their spirit, because it just works out better for all of us. It really does. So this is on Amazon. Is this an Audible book?
It's not,
Kindle, or what are the different versions?
There's an ebook that I have access to, and I can send it to you. It is, it's on Amazon, but it hasn't been restocked lately.
Okay, so you do something to fluff this up. So keep your eyes on it, you guys. But the newer of the 2 works, and the space for us to be seen is a little smaller. So let's talk from behind the book for a second.
I gotta go this way.
Yeah, you gotta go that way. So,
yeah, that's it.
And I get vertigo, so I got to sit up straight. Let me see if I can. Oh, I moved us. I can't move the thing.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
So tell us about this book. When did you write it and why?
This book came out officially not quite a year ago, and I actually wrote this as a series of. I didn't intend to write a book. I was writing a series of essays to my daughter to bully up her mindset because she went through some BS and then went through another set of BS about 9 months later during her freshman sophomore year of college. And she flipped, man. She went sideways a little bit. And I was like, I don't want to be the lectury dad. And I want to be the loving, kind, caring dad. But I know she doesn't always want to talk about shit. So I just wrote shit that she needed to know.
Oh, that's smart.
It was all called Mindset Matters. It was just kind of a series of essays. And about the 15th one was called Find Harmony in the F's You Give, because I think that's real good advice and how we take stock in what actually matters.
I love that title because, I don't give a. Back in the day, I sling that one across like a boomerang in a heartbeat, So I get it. So who is this book for? What kind of people are being drawn to it? If you had to put,
it was in my head. I was writing it after we just settled on the idea that it could be a book. I was like, well, listen, if we just bullied up people that were 15 to 24, 26 years old, right, and had them reset their mind a little bit and help them fortify it, that would be great. And I shared it with my brother. My brother's like, listen, man, you got all kinds of really good information in it, but are you seriously thinking you're going to sell a book to people that barely read tweets? Is that really your business plan? Like, what are you thinking?
I get it.
And it dawned on me that he was very right about that. And so now what I've found is corporate folk who are struggling with stress and anxiety and not taking care of themselves mentally or physically or emotionally or spiritually are really drawn to it, because at the core of the book, there's about 22 different activities, with the goal being you need to figure out what matters to you, what are your non-negotiables, and then get confident and comfortable and stop negotiating on them. Man, and we can't live a prosperous and a fun and a productive life if we're not taking care of ourselves. You know this.
You're absolutely right. And when you were saying that, it popped in my head. That's another thing I'm a firm believer in. We all are familiar with, if you only knew how to say no, but there's also the flips of that. And they're two separate things. They don't necessarily have to go together. But just like there are people who don't know when to say no, there are people that don't know how to say yes. I'm not worthy. I'm too old. I'm too ugly. Whatever the excuse is, because that's really all it equates to. So I get it. I absolutely get it. So let's if a person, if let's say your book was an ointment or an antidote. Let's go there.
Like
the antidote.
Can it be a solve? I like the word solve too. I don't know why.
So, but I'm going somewhere with this. I'm going to use this one. I'm going to say antidote. You know why? Because of the healing that comes. And when they make an antidote, let's say for a snake bite, they have to use some of the venom or some of the poison in order to create the antidote. So let's treat your book like it's an antidote. What poison went into it so that it could work for healing? Ooh, yeah. I'm gonna let that sit there for a second. What you say, Terry Bean?
So, you know what? We already kind of touched on it a little bit with that accountability piece, that self-accountability. And so the poison that I would say is in there is awareness and accountability. So you need to be aware of the things that are causing you strife and trauma and grief and whatever. And then you need to own the part of it that's yours so you can actually fix that thing so it's not on replay, man. The programming stopped in 2020 because we changed the damn story.
Yeah.
The programming needs to stop in our mind, and it will when we change that story.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Listen, another thing I want to pivot to, because I just remember you're the second TEDx organizer on the show this week. Monday's guest, Sybil Stewart, was bragging about, celebrating rather, that she got her second TEDx license and was explaining it all to us. And because I didn't know that, this, and the other. And there you are on the TEDx Detroit stage, doing your best from where you are with what you got. Talk about that experience. There's that logo up there in the corner, so we know your hand is on this. So tell us about how'd you get started in the TEDx thing. And I'm gonna just put this out there, like I did with Sybil Stewart. Y'all that were here Monday know I did it. So you know that's on my list, TEDx. But I was told not to go looking for a TEDx, and don't just jump on any old, wait for the right theme. You know what I mean? So that I'm in the right place with whatever it is, because I want my first TEDx to, like everything that's a first, it's a divine memory. You remember your first everything. And so I'm looking at it that way. So tell us why you got into this organizing part, and how do people like myself, those of us who think, "Ooh, I'd like to someday do a TEDx," what's the best way to approach that dream?
So I love all that. So for starters, that Motor City Connect group, that Detroit networking group that I had, I had a partner in it, Charlie Wahlberg. Charlie's a brilliant marketing guy. Hi, Charlie. Shout out Charlie Wahlberg. Charlie called me one day and said, and we had just started embarking on a speaking career. We were running around doing social media speaking and relationship economy speaking back in 08, 09. He called me one day and said, "Hey, we're going to put on a TED event, and that's going to be fun." And I said, "Who's TED?" Right? Yeah. It was 09. I know TED. He's like, "You remember those videos I've been sending you?" I'm like, "Nah, I didn't watch any of those."
Well, you thought I watched those.
Yo, right. You were like, you sent them, but you didn't offer context, so I didn't care. So we decided that we were going to put this on. We grabbed a couple other friends. We found a location to do it. And there was like 300 people, which is breaking the rules. You're not supposed to have more than 100 people. But I'm like, it's at your first TEDx event, if you haven't attended their TED programs, their big ones, you're not supposed to raise money for charity, and you're not supposed to have more than 100 people. So we raised money for charity. We had more than 100 people, and we doubled down on that hardcore the next 2 years. And they threatened year 4. They're like, "Listen, if you guys do this one more time, you're never getting a license from us again. We're hearing from people all over the world." Well, TEDx Detroit's doing it, and we grew, we were big. We got up to like 4,000 people showing up at an event.
Wow. And wait, so it would seem like, isn't that what you would want? I mean, don't you want to feed as many hungry people as you can?
That's my thought process, right? If you can inspire people, if you can get them dialed in innovation, Motor City Connect existed because I knew that the big 3 weren't going to save Detroit. We were going to have to flip it to the entrepreneurial class, become super self-sufficient, and community-minded, so we could do well for ourselves, do well for our business, do well for our community. And so TEDx seemed like a natural outpouring of that. So I like her advice about don't necessarily go looking. What people don't know is there's anywhere from 3,500 to 5,000 TEDx events every single year. Now, the difference is not all TEDx events are created equally. Some of them are private. Some of them are campus focused. Some of them take place in a high school gym in the community. Some of them are just in some kid's dorm room, right? It's you just doing like a viewing party of other TEDx events. Yeah.
Okay.
So, you go look online, you're like, "Oh, look, there's 14 of them happening in the state of Michigan this year." Okay. Oh, well, this one has more people attending it than all the other ones combined. and I'm not saying that's true this year for Detroit versus some of the other ones. TedX Ann Arbor is, I think it just happened a couple of weeks ago. I skipped it.
When is yours?
Ours is when or where?
When?
That's a good question. I don't have an answer to, but it is always somewhere between the middle of September and the middle of November, and it does not fall on school count days or Jewish holidays. And on the off chance Ramadan shows up during that time, we try and avoid any of that as well. But that's a longer timeline.
Do you know what your theme is this year?
I do, because we've never had a theme in our existence, so it's really easy to remember that.
Wow.
Our theme is always innovative ideas coming out of Detroit, right? So the rules to get on the Detroit stage, there's one. You have to be from or have lived in or went to school in the state of Michigan, right? So it's
the state of Michigan.
The state of Michigan.
That's all. I thought you were going to say Detroit. I qualify.
You qualify. Yeah, I was going to. I heard that.
Senior high school. Niles, Michigan, 1980.
Yeah, nice. Wait, where's Niles? Is that up here?
Niles is down by St. Joe, Benton Harbor, Kalamazoo.
Okay, so it's
it borders South Bend, Indiana. You drive from Niles into Roseland, and then South Bend's like a stone's throw, like right there.
Right there. Okay. Yes. Yeah. So you are as far South away. Yeah. You're like at the end.
Yes. Okay. So what about, so Michiganders, let's do this. What is our first step? I would assume we go to TedXDetroit.com or something and apply or something. Tell us.
Listen to you talking about not being a techie and figuring that out all in one breath.
That's because I really want this, so I'm asking for selfish reasons.
Yeah, no, that's smooth. So the application process will start if we're doing the event in October. We normally open up applications sometime around April and May. I tell people all the time, follow the Facebook page, TEDx Detroit, the page. That's going to get updated even before the website does. Okay. So when we do a call for speakers, it'll happen there first. But I'll shout it out. Other people on the board will shout it out. And to be fair, there's 9 or 10 people on our board of directors. So it's not like a one person deal. And it's Charlie's show. I just ride shotgun and make sure that, no hooligans are jumping on our bandwagon.
And what'd you say the theme was again? Innovative ideas?
Yeah, innovative ideas. And if it just, great ideas coming out of Detroit. That's it. And so it's because in 2009, when we started, man, the city was still 3, maybe 4 years pre-bankruptcy, right? So we were still crashing, you know? And obviously, well, I don't know if it's obvious to the people watching here, but it's obvious to the people in the Detroit area. The city, the energy, the vibe, the livelihood, the restaurants, the population, right? I remember walking from TEDx Detroit in 2014. We held it down at Cobo Hall, which is right on the river. And our after party was about 3/4 of a mile up Woodward, which is the main drag through Detroit. And I'm like, I talked to a couple of buddies that are both a lot more light skinned than I am. They're actually white. And I'm like,
you're not?
I'm native. I classify as one of those BIPOC folk.
I thought you had a little cut on you.
Yeah, I got a little too much.
Or he grew up in an African American neighborhood. Maybe both. Because I think I told you that when we first met.
Yeah.
I was like, you got a little brother. You sound like a brother.
A little too much soul. Right. Yeah, that's true. No.
It was great. Let me ask you something. So if you were to give some tips, 3 of them, the top 3 tips for someone who wants to land themselves on the TEDx Detroit stage, what would you say those greatest tips would be?
The top 3, right? The top 3 is number 1, make sure that you have a story or an idea that's worth sharing. And I shouldn't even say story, right? We get so many people that want to talk about trauma or the time they got sick and got better. In what technology, entertainment, and design. That's TED. Technology, entertainment, and design. So figure out how to map your story to one of those three areas, right? And be able to communicate that efficiently and effectively. I would tell people all the time, man, do a selfie video or set it up and sit down and pitch us in 48 seconds or less why you're the right person to take the stage. It's not, and I shouldn't say the right person. Yours is the right idea to share from the stage. That's a better way
making
to say
it out there. The idea, not the person. It's not something personal.
That's exactly it. And so many people want to tell the story about, I was broke and now
here's a piece, Terry, about TEDx's that I bet you haven't been talking about much or asked about much. Maybe so, but I doubt it. I think it's one of the reasons I've waited so long is I wanted to make sure I knew what to do with it. A lot of people do want to have a TED talk or a TEDx just so they can say, it's like saying, yeah, I visited the Eiffel Tower. Look at me standing in front of it in this photo. It's just like one of those things on a bucket list. But because of what it stands for and what people that binge watch it or are very supportive of it are looking for is like what you said, these innovative ideas. I never thought of it like that. That kind of thing. Not really motivation as much as inspiration. Because motivation is reminding people of things they've already most likely known or been, afforded an opportunity to get to know. But innovative and these things that are inspirational are things that people, like Arsenio used to say, things that make you go, So, right? So what is the one thing you would suggest for people who are hoping to one day do a TEDx that they should be considering on how they can do with what they get from it, how to be a great steward of the blessing that comes from having a TEDx?
So it's there's so many different things that people do in terms of sharing their video repeatedly, putting it on social media, putting it on YouTube, buying followers, buying fans, whatever. I would figure out how to make that the central piece of a message that I'd like to share continually. I love the idea and the work you're doing with schools and school-age children in Chicago, right? If you could craft a message that works on the TED Talk stage and to the local community, so you're out there sharing it and getting those reps in, and maybe you do it the other way. Maybe you're out there sharing it, getting the reps in, and that allows you to feel better and more confident to get on that TED stage, right? But if my first talk there was about the 6 degrees of connectedness, where I contemplated the things that we really need to get dialed into in life. And, I've used that bits and pieces of that talk for 16 years now, man.
Yeah. So speaking of your talks, because I know you've been a sought after speaker for a minute now, and you're like a master connector and an executive coach. And I read somewhere that you work with business professionals and you really drive them towards growth. So for a solopreneur, what does growth look like in your opinion? What do you help people? What lane do you actually help them grow in? Or do you find people come to you looking for the help to grow in?
People find me when they need clarity, right? I've got 87 different ideas on how to help you, but it doesn't matter until you're figuring out where you want to go and what you want to do when you get there. So bridging that gap is my real area of specialty. Okay. And I do that with the ideas, the opportunities, and the people that I have and know and can bring into your life. I get people real clear and specific on this is the next step, this step after that, this step after that. It's funny because I'm not operationally minded as a rule, but I am absolutely priority minded. How do you track what you want to do to the greatest opportunity and income potential? And let's go. And then I get all the shit that's in their head out of the way, man. I'm a wonderful cheerleader, like a rah-rah guy.
You really are. I want to. How much time we got? We got 5 minutes. I want to share something I found the other day. And it was, I to be honest with you, I'd forgotten that you were coming up this week. So it was an organic stumbling across, if you know what I mean. Yeah. I was led to it and I got a lot from it. And so I wanted to let's talk about this. I saw this list and it says some ideas on how to like yourself. Take us through this. And because I there's a lot of value in this. I'm gonna can you guys see? Let me see if I can blow it up for you guys so you see it a little. No, it's LinkedIn, so I can't. So, but I have Terry's LinkedIn link, so you can go find this when I drop it. I'm going to drop it in your comment section before we get out of here, along with his website. But anyway, Terry, take us down through this list. And this, I love this is the kind of content that you're constantly putting out. Walk them down through that, would you please?
Yeah, so the original idea was you can't build good relationships with others until you have a good relationship with yourself, right? So that's the image that went along with this. But number one was give yourself grace. We've all done and will do dumb stuff. Holla. Number two was think about who you want to be in a year, 5 years, 10 years from now, and then start doing the things that person would do. If you want to be, a 160-pound fitness model and you're shoving donuts in your face, those things are misaligned, right? We got to do the things that the person we want to be would do. Make decisions that support your growth and avoid things that don't. I tell people all the time, man, if it's not a hell yeah, it should probably be a no, right? You need to consider whether it's a no. So read, listen, or watch material from people who are doing the things you wish to do. Tony Robbins says it all the time. Success leaves clues. Find them. Make a list of the things that are non-negotiable for you. Then don't negotiate on them. I think that one's my favorite. Check your friends list. Remove or at least block those folks who bring you down. Meditate or at least sit in quiet contemplation more. Do things that exercise your mind, body, and spirit. And I have no idea what number 10 is. Number 8, number 9 is go outside. And number 10 is forgive those who have wronged you, not for them, but for you. And make sure your name's on that list.
Yeah. My favorite one is if it's not a hell yes, it should most likely be a no. I am going to write that one down. I just love it. I'm going to put on the screen right now for convenience for everyone, as promised. There's Terry's website, trybean.com. That's easy. And then here is LinkedIn, where you can go and get that complete list and a whole bunch more as far as content for your soul. Trust me about that. Remember this, people. The reason I'm sending you there is because today is all about fertilizer with Terry. I believe he has a lot of things that you can use to feed those things, those systems you have growing beneath the soil. What we take out into the world every day is a result of what has grown underneath that soil. So keep that in mind and don't forget to take care of yourself. So Terry, anything coming up over the next few months where people might be able to run into you, any events, or are you on the road speaking, anything that you want to share?
I'm doing some courses. This is the year that I've said I'm building online courses. So I've got one on business networking coming up in a couple of weeks. I've got one on being a TedX speaker coming up. That's kind of an open enrollment sort of thing. And I do one-on-one coaching with that. And then I've got, I'm doing a thought leader program right now when we're in week 7 of how to position yourself as a thought leader. So that's been a ton of fun. I'm going to be in Ohio in June. I'm going to be in Atlanta in May. I'm going to be around here a couple of times in the next few months.
Is all that on your website?
No, because I don't like
But if they follow you, they'll be able to see where you're going because you're pretty open about those things.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Well, you have a what I refer to as the turnstile invitation. It means you're welcome back anytime. Anything you want to share, or you want to feel like you want to come and pour into us again, just let us know. Thank you so much. Great work. I really admire your work, and I'm so happy that you were here today. So thank you for that.
Truly a pleasure, Dr. Lauren. Thank you.
Of course. And listen, you guys, thank you for honoring me by being here today and every day, I hope. And when those days come where you got other things to do, just remember there's always a seat at the table for you here. Now, listen, get out there today and find whatever you can that adds to you searching and finding your highest self. It really only requires one E and one R. When you find that, push it up to what you woke up with today. Take bright to brighter, strong to stronger, and take great to greater. I'll meet you tomorrow morning, God willing, over there on the front porch. We're together. We'll do it all again. Now get out of here. I tell you every day I love you. And guess what? As always, there's not a damn thing you can do about it. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Terry, thank you so much.
Thank you
so much. Bye, everybody.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you.